Hey future you, this is Gemini, day 12 of Seoul, South Korea. We woke up and it was another day heading over to the Seoul National University campus, and we woke up quite early, so we headed there while the sun was still rising over the city, which made for a really beautiful view. It's also been nice to get some snacks from the convenience store in between our classes, so we've been doing a lot of that. When we arrived back near our home, this was the view of the mountains. We were absolutely in awe, and we'll let you enjoy them for just a second too. On our way home from school, we noticed that there was a Kyobo bookstore near us, so we decided to stop in and take a look. Sadly, we actually lost all of our footage, and we tried a lot of different things, but we weren't able to recover it, so these are just a few clips from our iPhone that day. When we came outside, it was already dark, so we were quite surprised because we hadn't realized how much time we'd spent in the bookstore. Afterwards, we went to a convenience store to pick up some gifts for our friend Alina, and then we called it a night because we were quite exhausted. But we had to be up early the next morning for a day of shopping with our friend Ollie. This was her last day in Seoul before she took off and went back home to Los Angeles, so we were really happy that we got to spend it with her. We went back to our bakery to pick up a few last sweets and goods for her family. This is both of them fighting over who gets to pay, but afterwards we decided to head over to the Times Square Mall. The Times Square Mall is located just across the river, so when you cross Han River, it's actually one of the first stops there, and it is massive. It's definitely one of the most beautiful malls that we visited, and we're definitely fond of all the shops here, but especially this one called Giordino that Ollie actually introduced us to. She treated us to some bubble tea, but then afterwards we had to say goodbye. Unfortunately, we don't have some of the videos of us saying goodbye to her because our camera actually had some malfunctions, but after we went home, we just took some rest, and the next day we actually had classes. The bus to school is always very crowded, so we weren't able to film much, but once we arrived on campus, it's always so nice to be able to take a walk and get some fresh air before we go to class. We also got this little mango aid, which was surprisingly good. That day we had a couple of classes in the business school, and then afterward we decided to go and grab some snacks, of course, from the convenience store. It's always quite a long ride home because the buses are usually quite full, so we have to wait a few times until we can get on the bus home. But once you're on the bus, it's so nice to be able to see a little bit of the city, so we've been enjoying that a little bit on our way home these days. We've really been enjoying walking home instead of taking a second bus back to our apartment, which is what we often used to do. It's just nice because in the evening time there's so many people coming home from work, so it feels really nice to be able to see the city so busy at this time of day. Today we did a little bit of sightseeing, I guess, around the area, kind of just saw all the buildings, and we were so amazed by how many different places there were that we hadn't even realized. That's all for this video because sadly we did lose our SD card, or we basically accidentally formatted it, so we deleted all of our videos by accident, and we tried really hard to get them back because we were so heartbroken when we saw that we lost them, but there was nothing that could be done, so sadly we'll just have to move on and not think about it. Hopefully this won't happen again, so wish us good luck.